Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me. I'm Coach Powell. This is what we do every single week, every Friday. We try to bring to you the best of the best in information, ideas, concepts, and conversation for small, women, and minority-owned businesses. Anything we can do to help them accomplish what they need to accomplish, to grow, to achieve, to make headway in the complicated universe that there's out there is vitally important to be a part of that success for me. I hope to be one of the greatest business coaches that ever existed on the planet, to make sure that as many entrepreneurs as I possibly can are leveraged to the hilt in terms of opportunities and resources that they're going to need to move forward. They are passionate for me because I understand that over 95% of our businesses are small businesses, micro businesses, gig economy people who are, they don't have all the necessary resources that the larger corporations might be able to have to pull together, but they still need help with the finance. They still need help with the marketing. They still need help with the operations. They still need help making sure that they have gotten the right kinds of business processes and strategies in place to be successful. This is what I love to do. This is what I love to work on. This is my passion. I got to thank a couple people for allowing programs like this to happen. I've got lots of sponsors and partners that work with me on bringing these things out, and they sponsor not just our coaching process, my coaching practice, but they sponsor the events that I put on. They sponsor this event, and plus the Leverage Up event, which is one of the best events I think we've ever put together. This is basically a great opportunity for businesses to come together and talk about the ideas that are the macro ideas that are affecting them, the political ideas, the economic ideas, the social ideas, the technological ideas, the legal ideas, and the ecosystem, the environmental things that affect them in doing business and being a part of the business mix here in America. We get into some deep discussions, some great opportunities. And guys, if you haven't taken advantage of the discount ticket right now, get that right away. Even if you can't attend the conference, I want you to know that you should register anyway, because it's going to be recorded, and the recording is going to be available the full day. It's going to be about 5-6 hours of recording. It's going to be available to everybody who registered for at least 3 months. And so you're not going to miss anything if you can't attend the full day. If you only can pop in for a couple of minutes, do me a favor, check the chat, make sure that you are invested. And if you're coming to the conference and you know you're coming to the conference, do me a favor and light the chat box up today. I don't care whether you're watching us from LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to get that. I'm going to receive it. I want to give you a shout out. Make sure you get the proper recognition for being one of the first to sign up today, at least. The conference is going to be packed. We're looking at thousands of entrepreneurs and business leaders. It's a virtual conference. I mean, really, we took all the excuses out of the deck. I mean, it's not expensive. It's virtual. It's easy to get to. We're going to record the whole thing and make it available for everyone. And so if you're looking into trying to figure out how to make your business sing, some opportunities are going to be there for you in all of the newer ideas that are out there. How are you taking advantage of the politics, the new initiatives that are coming out of the Biden administration? How are you taking advantage of the technology, AI, Bitcoin, and cybersecurity issues? How are you taking advantage of some of the new things that are coming out with mobile tech platforms and 5G, 6G, 7G as we move on up the chain to create even faster? Are you taking advantage of what's going on in the semiconductor development world and the infrastructure development that's coming to the United States of America? Is that something that you can take advantage of, or something you're going to take an L for? And I know you don't want to take an L. And so you got to come to the conference because we're going to be discussing all these things. And I promise you, the panelists that we have are some of the greatest people that you can ever experience. I mean, they're coming from every background, every level of business, and they are here to give you their best thoughts and their best ideas on what maybe you could do. And there's all kinds of discounts and all kinds of opportunities available for you to take advantage of so that you can, spend less and do more, right? That's super important for every small businesses. So if you can get a chance to take a look at that conference, take a look at the chat. It's all posted in there for you. I'll post it again maybe later on. This is Coffee Tea, You and Me, guys. I don't want you to keep this program a secret because every week I try to bring you the best. I try to bring my A game to you. I don't hold anything back. Do me a favor, share this thing. Join us on YouTube or on Facebook. Make sure that you are clicking and sharing and doing everything you can to invite others to participate in this program. This I've been doing now every Friday for a little bit more than 2 years now, and that's a lot of in the can projects and in the can videos that I've already done. I try to keep it to a minimum of 50 minutes, no more than that, and that way we can get things done. Sometimes I get a guest speaker on here. If you guys got to get a good idea for a guest presenter, and really they don't have to present anything. All they have to do is show up, participate in the discussion. I create all the presentations and all the so on and so on, all of the information as we move forward. So let's get started on today's program. Today, I'm super excited about what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to be talking about what it takes to create the relationships, the professional relationships that you need to create to move forward. And I'm going to tell you, I've used this process my entire time when I'm networking, when I'm out, when I'm gathering members for advisory councils, when I'm helping people put together their strategy team, when I'm helping, myself come up with, various ideas and concepts where I need financing or I need some ideas, some support from certain different things. I use these same processes. I'm calling my 4 secret relationship development sauce tricks, right? So there's a special sauce that you're creating, and it's 4 ingredients that you need to have in that sauce. We're going to talk about the secret sauce to building professional relationships right after this break. As we come back, I hope you guys are ready. I know I'm ready, and we're going to have a great time. Okay, everybody, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Coffee Tea, You and Me. I am Coach Powell. My job is to help you, entrepreneurs, business leaders, small business people, small women-owned, minority-owned businesses, trying to help you do everything you possibly can to make the next opportunity happen for you in a grand fashion, and the next several opportunities for you happen in a grand fashion. And I happen to know if you're going to get it done and you're going to get it done well, you're going to need some help. Nobody does it alone. Nobody reaches high levels of success all by themselves, because that's not sustainable. You are going to need a team. You're going to need people who are going to be there for you through the rough times. You're going to need people who are going to be there for you through the good times, people to celebrate with you, people to honor you, people to validate you, people to support you financially, emotionally, socially, and all the different things that matter and count, because your health and your wellness are all in the balance of how you do what you do. I love that. There's some music, I think, on the third show of the Mrs. Maisel program, and it's called, and the song goes a little bit like this: "It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it." Guys, your business, whether you are starting up, whether you are incubating it, whether you're just thinking about it in your mind, and whether you've been in business for 10 or 15 years or more, deserves your best effort. It deserves not just your best effort for you, but your best effort from your community, and your best effort to create some type of endowment, some type of branding, some type of strategy that's going to live on beyond you. If you're not trying to create something that's going to grow and be successful beyond you, then what are you really doing when it comes to creating value? You're creating value just for you? You can get a job and do that. But now you're starting a business. You're talking legacy. You're talking opportunity here. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How are you going to get there? How are you going to build those relationships? Because you're going to need professional relationships. Studies show that those of us who are masterful at building professional relationships can excel through our careers, through our businesses, and everything we want to do so much faster. When you know how to develop professional relationships, you get to trust with people quickly. If you use the 4 steps that I'm going to share with you, and we're going to talk about this for the next few weeks. If you use the 4 steps that I'm going to share with you, the 4 ingredients to the secret sauce of building professional relationships, I promise you, you're going to be so much better at presenting yourself, presenting your thoughts and your ideas, attracting and recruiting and maintaining the quality of people that you need to have around you, in spite of what you can or cannot pay them. I'm going to say that again. It's not about how much you can pay somebody. It's really about how you treat them, and how you help them raise their lives to the level of expectations that they want to have for themselves. And it's so much more than just financial reward. So don't think that everything you got to do, like, you can't do it because you can't afford it. Well, you probably can't afford it financially, but can you afford it emotionally? And you got to think through those things. And that's what the 4 secret sauce is all about. That's what the 4 secret sauce ingredients are literally all about. Let's get into it. When you think about building professional relationships, I want to tell you the first thing you have to think about is, why do you want to build professional relationships? If you want to build professional relationships only for selfish reasons, just to sell your product or service, or just to get your program out to market, or just to somehow figure out how to launch your nonprofit, or create more energy around your nonprofit, then I'm sorry, you're in the wrong thought process, right? If you are doing it to serve self and others, then you're starting to get to where I'm trying to get to. When you're trying to think about, if you're creating something, if you're doing something, if you're generating opportunity, not just for yourself, but for the benefit of others, then these 4 secret sauce ingredients are going to work for you phenomenally well. But if you're all about self and you're all about transaction, they're not going to work for you very well. You're not going to understand them. You're not going to get them. And it's just not going to work. The first, and I'm going to read them to you first so you know what they are. All 4 of the keys to the kind of development that we're talking about today are right in front of us. And I just sent the link out. In fact, I'm going to send this link out again. well, sometimes during this discussion, if you will remind me, if you're out there, then I'll send you the link. But here's the deal. Uh, if you looked on my LinkedIn profile recently, you may have seen them, especially talking about today's program or today's process. I put that definitely in the details of today's program so people can understand what they're getting into today. There are 4 ingredients to the secret sauce of professional relationships. Ingredient number one is understanding. You must understand not just the needs of yourself, but the needs of others until you care enough to take action. This is like unlocking the treasure trove of productivity and growth, not just for yourself, but for others. You must have understanding who you are and the other people that you're working with and their needs. If you don't have understanding, you're not going to get there. Number 2, you need to really, really crave and really care about mutual benefits with the people that you work with. If you don't want to be associated with others, if you can't see yourself being associated with others, if you don't like finding dance partners who can work out with you and make sure that you're doing the things you need to do together collectively, if that doesn't appeal to you, you're in the wrong mindset, and you got to figure out how to get that done. How can you be better at working with other people? In fact, enjoying and delighting in the process of working with other people. Number 3, you have to like each other enough to enjoy being genuinely helpful. I can't say this enough. If you do not enjoy working with the people that you're working with, then you're going to have a problem. What you want is a squad of superheroes who are always, they have your back, and then it feels like a party. It feels like, there's nothing that you can't do. It feels exciting and it's interesting, and it's so much fun to work with a vibrant and talented community of people as you move through whatever it is you're moving through. So think of all the roles that you have that you're playing with, and ask yourself, do I have the right people on the bus, so to speak? Do I have the right people working with me? And ingredient number 4. And this is what it's all boiling down to. If you get through the first 2 ingredients and you add them to the pan, you get them all cooking up, what you're going to have is a level of trust. And that trust is going to be what you need to conquer any challenge that comes your way. Not only are you going to conquer those challenges well, you're going to accomplish them fast. For those of you who haven't read The Speed of Trust, I highly recommend you read not Dr. Covey's, but Stephen Covey, Stephen M.R. Covey. I call him Covey Jr., right? If you read that book, The Speed of Trust, I promise you're going to learn these strategies and even more to get you to high levels of trust with people that you need to get to trust with super fast. And this is important because when you're in the process of developing relationships, the relationships only become important to the pace and the urgency that you create within the relationship. If you create a laissez-faire relationship, then it's going to be a long time before you get to trust. But if you create a relationship with the purpose of moving to exceptionally high levels of trust so that you can then leverage the relationships, the money, the financing, the time, the talent, and the treasure of other people, the connections they may have. If that's your purpose for the relationship, then that's mutual, by the way, it's going to work really well. So again, I'm going to read them through really quickly again. Ingredient number 1 is understanding. Ingredient number 2, craving mutuality. Ingredient number 3 is making sure that you like each other, in fact, love each other. Ingredient number 4 is trust and getting to trust with each other really, really fast. These are all mutual concepts, right? And if you don't get those mutual concepts, then you got a problem. So let's dig deep. Let's dig deep into the first concept. And we're gonna go at this for a few minutes, but I want you to think about this thought of understanding. When you think of understanding, what does it really mean to you? What does it mean to truly understand another person to you? Let's start with self. Before we get there, other people, let's start with self. What does it mean to understand yourself? When you say, I know me, right? This is like the first question that I got from Dr. Maulana Karenga when he kept breaking down the Kawaida theory for many of us who studied at Pan-African Studies over at Kent State University many years ago. And he would ask, the first question that one asks oneself is, ancient Africans have always asked, is, who am I? What is your identity? What do you bring to the table? What are you going for that other people need to know about? Not just where are you from or what is your history, what's your baggage. Who are you in terms of what are your blessings? What are your gifts? What are your talents? What do you feel like you are here to do? So you got to have answers to these questions, because people will get excited if you are able to share with them the benefit of you. So you're talking to somebody and they want to know in the back of their mind, why am I talking to you? What is the benefit that this person can bring to me in my life? And if you don't know the benefit that you can bring to other people in any given situation, it's going to be hard for you to be understood. Now, I want you to bookmark that idea, right? Because that's not the most important thing initially in a relationship building process. The most important thing in a relationship building process is that you take the time to understand someone else. Stephen Covey said it, and I'm going to repeat it. If you seek first to understand, then to be understood, you're on the right path, right? So when you need to understand something about someone else, what do you really want to understand? You want to understand what their passion is right away. You want to understand what's driving them right away. You want to understand where they're going. What is their trajectory? What are their gifts and talents moving them toward? The more you can understand those things, the more you can start programming the right questions in place. Because most people, when they introduce you, they're not coming with their vision of where they're coming with their baggage and their history. And I mean, it might help you to know where they came from and the struggles they had and their story and all that kind of stuff. And if that's interesting to you, that's interesting to you. But if it's not interesting to you, it really isn't. And you don't want to listen. In fact, people who pounce on you with their story, like it's the most important thing that they could ever share, it's kind of self-serving, and it doesn't really help them get to you. But people who come to you with questions like, what is your vision for success? Where do you see yourself in 15, 20 years? How do you see the gift that you have right now moving you forward? All right. And then once you understand those things, when you can reflective listen to those people and you can repeat it back to them, what's going to happen is they're going to have a feeling, a sense that they're being understood. Right now, I want you to go through, and there's tons of neurological studies out there that I think you can look at, but I want you to think about it from your own personal point of view. What happens to you when someone makes you feel understood? How do you feel? Do you feel put upon because they understand you? Do you feel offended because they understand you? Are you somehow weakened by that opportunity? Yeah, the answer probably is no. And I know I don't. I often feel like refreshed when someone understands me, when someone takes the time to hear my vision, to understand my talents, and listen for my gifts, and really care enough to share with me that they get it, right? All of a sudden, I feel great about that person. Now, I will tell you, I train people to do this all the time. And I say to them, I can help you make anybody fall in love with you if you will follow these basic steps, if you will follow these basic rules. And I want you to know that people who are celebrities or personalities that you've fallen in love with, they've already understood this and they've used these things to help you create that feeling that they are important, that they're special, that something's meaningful. It's not just their talent. It's how they display their talent and share their talent. And it's how they interact with the people that they interact with. It can be personal, interpersonal, it can be audience. I don't know if you've ever been to a great concert or a workshop or and you feel like the person that's presenting the information is presenting it just for you. Right? I know you felt that way. I know I felt that way. I feel that way in church all the time, right? The pastor's always driving accomplish the kind of the tactics and strategies that I'm going to share with you. Now, it's important that you understand I'm sharing this stuff with you because I don't want you to use it for manipulative purposes. I want you to use it for influential purposes. And influence and manipulation are two sides of the same coin. The choice that you make to be purposeful in terms of influential and purposeful, in terms of manipulation is yours. That is about your and well, I guys, I don't know what happened to that connection. I'm hoping that it's all back and we're all good. It looks like we are. For some reason, I had some kind of crazy streaming episode. I'm glad that it brought me back to the episode and I didn't have to start all over again. I apologize for the disconnect. What I was talking about, the abilities that we all have to choose the right side of a virtuous behavior with one another. And we all have that opportunity to choose that. So you always want to be on the right side of the right side. Don't choose negative. Don't choose manipulation. Always choose influence over manipulation. That's my thoughts to you. And I teach you these things. I want you to keep that in mind because you have to make the choice to be ethical. I can't make that choice for you. I hope that you would make that choice to do the right thing and to not try to move people. Use your personality, your style, the gifts that I'm going to share with you, the things I'm going to teach you to move forward. Okay, so we're talking about understanding. And one of the best, I've always given you the question, when you begin to understand others, here's what's going to happen to them. And they don't have a choice. This is why I'm telling you, it's super important that you understand this process. The neurotransmitters in your brain, I'm going to get a little scientific here for a second, are going to, when you feel understood, what happens is the reason why you feel so good about it when you feel understood, and you get the warm and fuzzies about this person that seems to understand you, even though if they haven't done anything or said anything, they just shared with you a connection and a feeling of connection, right? Serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin. Go ahead and look those things up. Serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin are the feel-good neurotransmitters that get turned on in your brain that make you have a feeling of satisfaction, of warmth, of connection, of favor and belief, and all those things that happen to make you feel safe. If you cannot put this first ingredient into the secret sauce of you building your professional relationships, it does not matter whatever else you do. Now, this process that I'm talking to you about right now is in my program that I have called Coach Powell's series on execution. I'm talking about that program just because this is what the whole series we've been in for the last couple of weeks is all about. It's all about execution. And if you're going to execute strategy, technique, process with people, you're going to have to really, truly value understanding. There's what's another thing that happens when a person feels understood? They feel respected when they feel understood. Now, if you ever thought about this or understood this, I looked it up. You know what the definition of respect is? It might not be what you think. Because I used to think that, respect was all about, treating everyone the same, treating everyone equal, making sure that I was being fair to everyone. That's not what respect is. Respect is something totally different. It is about holding people in high regard and admiration. High regard and admiration. That's what respect is all about. And so you have to ask yourself, as you're trying to understand someone, what is it about them that you hold in high regard and admiration? I have clients that I deal with all the time, and they tell me stories of the issues that they might be having in the workplace or in their business. And most of them have to do around feeling disrespected because their leaders haven't learned the process that I'll be teaching you about how to understand them. They don't ask questions about where they might be going in this career path or how they might support them in their growth and development. They don't make it a safe environment for them to speak and communicate their true feelings about how they're being valued or want to be valued in the organization. They don't work on their professional development and growth in such a way that they feel like they belong to a group or to an organization that can move forward with them. You see, this understanding piece, usually it comes with a lot of short shrift because we think if we understand our job description, then we're doing good. But we understand our role, then we're doing good. But because there's a connective tissue that drives all human behavior, it has to transfer both ways. Now, back to Dr. Covey, who said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Once you've taken the time to understand someone, and they've given you the signals that you got it right. Now you have to practice a little reflective listening, meaning you have to be able to share back to them in your own words what you heard them say about their passion, their vision, their values, and what their drivers are, what's driving their heart, what's motivating them. If you can understand those things about a person and they agree that you understand, they're saying, yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. And you can create that conversation that makes them feel safe exploring those ideas and those things with you, man, then you get a right. You have earned the right to share with them the same things from yourself. Now, there's a program that I created called the RAP approach. And the RAP approach It's all about demonstrating and showing someone else literally why you have them at a level of high esteem and adoration. If you can do this well, what happens is that person feels understood. And not only do they feel understood, they feel celebrated and honored. And as a leader, if you learn the strategies in the RAP approach, and by the way, if you want to learn the strategies in the RAP approach, give me a call. Let me know. I mean, if I can put my branding information up, I forgot to do that. All of my information is right there scrolling across the screen. You can find me. I'm easy to find on my website, on my phone number, or you can. I don't suggest you call me because I'm probably not going to answer if I don't recognize the number. But I will respond to a text message, especially if you said that you met me at Coffee to You and Me, or you heard something about it at Coffee to You and Me. That's something I'm going to respond to, right? So let's make sure you get that done and you do that. But it's super, super important that you understand the law of reciprocity is in effect in all four of the ingredients that I'm going to share with you over the next couple of weeks. If you don't understand that you have to first be willing to give it in order to receive it, then you got a problem. And I may not be able to deal with you with that problem. That problem may require, a little bit more than the coach can bring to you. Because if you're stuck in, you want to hold all your cards, you don't want to share anything of yourself, you don't want to put yourself out there, you don't want to feel vulnerable or whatever those things are. If that's where you're stuck, then it's going to be a problem for you to open up and be open to other people. And that's a requirement of building quality relationships. And you just got to get past yourself and your ego and your fear and your blame and your shame and all the things that drag you back. Now, I will tell you that, when you start getting into those negative thoughts and feelings about yourself, the more you stay there and you allow that to fester in your heart, then it's going to turn into some very negative emotional and mental issues that you may need to seek professional help to get yourself out of. And so it's funny, I was just in a conference today, international conference with my fraternity, and they were just talking about mental health and how important mental health is. And one of the suggestions one of the conference leaders gave, and I think this is a good one, get your mental health now. If you don't have any problems, get your mental health people in place right now. Get yourself a counselor right now, because if you take what I'm sharing with you, and I understand this is going to be a big change for some of you. And that might not be easy for you to embrace as you think it's going to be. It might be, Marvin just said follow these rules and do these things. Yeah, it'll work if you understand the underpinnings of it. If you don't have enough self-regard, self-esteem, self-concept is not high enough for you to embrace these things, then these things might cause you more stress, might cause you more anxiety, more grief, more pain. And I don't want that for you. And so get yourself aligned with the proper therapist. It may take you a while to get somebody, who will see you in your health plan and all that kind of good stuff. But they're out there and they can help you begin to unpack some of the trauma that maybe you have had in the past that make it difficult for you to move forward. So I'm going to advocate for mental health today and make sure that, if you can't figure out, like when I said, understanding yourself and understanding your own vision, understanding your own sense of mission, understanding where your talents are, and understanding, where your values and principles might be aligned with those things in the trajectory of your forward trajectory of your future. If you can't do those things and you don't have any problems with those things, guess what? You're good, right? But if you have any problems with those things, I would suggest you run through some of the exercises I have in the execution manual that begin to help you reflect on your situation, on your self reflection on who you are and what you're all about. Because if you get that straight, then it's going to be much easier for you to participate, to communicate, and to add to the values that the rest of the world have to bring to you. Okay, this is understanding. Understanding is one of the most powerful tools that you could ever have about yourself or share with anyone else. And it's super, super important that you get there, because you can't participate even in the next level of relationship building, which is about finding that mutually beneficial association. If you can't get there. You can't get to if you don't understand yourself and understand others, then what are you collaborating on? Where is the mutuality? It has to only be a one-way street. If it's just them understanding you, it's one way. If it's you understanding them, it's one way. But if it's mutual understanding, now you can find what's beneficial in your possible or potential association, which is the next ingredient in the secret sauce. And I don't think we have time to cover all of that today. So we're going to get into the next ingredient next week. But I want you to know all of these things are so important to your emotional and social development. It not only makes you a better leader, it makes you a better person, because you now can demonstrate and see the skills required to lead yourself and to lead others. I've had a wonderful time tonight, guys. If you have any questions about anything regarding your own professional and personal development, I want you to know you can reach out to me. Reach out to me in the chat. Guess what? If I can't answer your questions, somebody else in our audience can answer your questions. Don't feel like you should just be sitting there with issues and questions and things like that you don't have the opportunity to address. In fact, if any of you are listening today and you want a free 1-hour coaching session with me, and I'm going to do this now. What's it? It's July. I'm going to run this until the end of the month. If you give me a call and you say you want a free hour of coaching, I'm going to give it to you. We're going to create a Coach Powell Power Hour right then and there. And so we'll set it up. If I can't do the time, I'll set it up for you in a time that's going to be useful for both me and you. But it's super important that if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business leader, even if you're thinking about being in business, that you don't let fear, blame, shame, or anything else, guilt, hold you back. Don't let it stop you. I mean, it's not about information and knowledge. It's about drive. And sometimes it's about, being willing to face whatever that you need to face and give that resilience and be able to come back at it, because that's what makes you great, is being able to face the demons, slay the dragon, and do the things you need to do to be successful. My name is Coach Powell. We're in Coach Powell Training and Development. This is Coffee Tea, You and Me. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. God bless you. And I hope you just keep on pushing, baby. Keep on pushing.